So I think I should probably do a video on attacking cover 4 drop. I haven't really touched on it much throughout this year, mainly if I'm talking about cover 4, I'm talking about cover 4 quarters or palms. I haven't really touched on cover 4 drop just because I think it's a pretty silly defense to run, but sure enough, you see a fair amount of it online. And in my opinion, it's one of the simplest defenses to pick apart. And mainly we can do that with smash concepts out of doubles looks and curl flat concepts out of trips looks. So what better way to show you those by combining them in the same formation out of empty base flex. So this will be something that you can find at the San Francisco playbook. So I know I didn't put this in my ebook that I did in the last video, but it's something you can definitely tag onto that. And the play we're looking at here is strong curl, where on the left we have a stock smash concept, and on the right a stock curl flat concept that do great against the smash concept does great against cover 2, and the curl flat does great against cover 3, and cover 4 drop is such a poor coverage that these concepts work, both of them work against it. So I'll go ahead and show you that, and we'll go ahead and 3-4 odd here, cover 4 drop show 2. So first of all, before we kind of get into it, the things about cover 4 drop show 2, first of all, it's really easy if you're spreading out your opponent. It's very easy to tell that they're in cover 4 drop because you only have 3 pass rushers. Okay, so your apex defenders are your 2 outside linebackers, and by default, unless you base align, of course, these guys are gonna go out to align with the number 2 wide receivers. Okay, so they're gonna come out there and you're only gonna have 3 guys on the defensive front. So if I show you right now, if I audible to say Tampa 2, well, one of those guys is going to move back in. Similarly with cover 3 skies, one of those guys is going to come back in. So right away, if you're spreading them out, unless they base align, you're going to be able to tell it's in cover 4 drop. The other thing is, although it looks kind of intimidating, especially for newer players, seeing 8 zones on the field here, the way I think about it is cover 4 drop is just cover 3, and you're taking out one of the pass rushers and putting him over here in the middle to help the deep safety out. And it doesn't even really help him because how often do you see 4 vertical routes in this game? Not very often. And secondly, cover 3 as it is, just a stock cover 3 does a great job against 4 verticals anyway. So why would you need another safety in the middle of the field here? You're just taking out the possibility of getting better pass rush or having a spy. So right away, they lose a defender, and they have a much worse pass rush. Okay, and then there's some other kind of smaller things that I'll show you that make the defense even much worse than cover 3. So what we're going to do, you can align this any way you want. The first look that I'm looking at is, well, you can either pick any side of here. So if we look on the left where the smash concept is, the curl flat defender, the outside linebacker there, is going to drift underneath the corner route, all the way up. So we can throw that hitch route over here right away, or we can wait a little bit more, and we should easily get 10, 11, 12 yards, just like so. Similarly, if they don't run it stock, if they run just a cloud flat, it's going to do the exact same thing. Just like this, it's going to drift, and we can just throw this all day long. Now, thinking about cover 3, if I go back and check the cover 3, is that stock cover 3 in this game actually does a really, really good job against smash. Because the rule set against doubles, and that's what we have on the left, we have a doubles look, is that the curl flat defender, this guy, is going to take the first underneath route, and the deep third is going to take the first vertical route, essentially. So you'll see the curl flat come down on the hitch, and the deep third is going to play aggressively on that corner route, just like that. But if we go back to cover 4 drop, you'll notice that the deep fourth doesn't play aggressively on the corner route, and so that curl flat in a cover 4 drop is not actually the same curl flat that you see in cover 3. So he has to actually drift a little bit. That's why you see that hitch route underneath open all the time. So watch that outside quarter. He's just going to be drifting. And even at this point, we can throw that corner route if we wait long enough. And that's something you can definitely do because that pass rush is so poor. Now, of course, you'll see this. You'll see hard flats. if your opponent is, tired of giving up that hitch. And then from there, that corner route's going to have even more space. Now, this particular corner route actually doesn't do great. You can smart route it back down a little bit just to give you a little bit more space underneath that cornerback there, and you can just throw that there. So it's not the best spacing, it's not the best corner route. I think the corner route that comes in the Elite Chemistries in Ultimate Team does better. It's more of a flatter corner route. It's kind of in between this and a deep out. That'll do much, much better. But, this is good enough as it is. So against cover 4 drop, really all you need is that one side right there. You can just stand in the pocket all day. If they don't hard flat, you throw these hitches all day. And again, we know it's cover 4 drop because there's only 4 guys stacked in the box. And by the way, if it's a 4-man box and you have 5 blockers and you have Michael Vick, why don't you audible to quarterback draw? So quarterback draw is going to be a killer here, because you're going to have, again, 5 blockers against 4 guys in the box, and those linemen are going to go with full speed, and they're going to go right at those safeties, and you're just going to have a ton of room to run. I wouldn't, take too many hits unnecessarily, so, I would take your 5-10 yards and just slide from there. On the other side here, we have a nice, beautiful curl flat concept, where this curl, his inside stem is going to be able to get open against any flat route. So whether that's the stock curl, whether that's the cloud, you saw there that the strong hook curl defender, this guy right here, came down on the flat, and that's just a bug that's been in the game for a while. But if they do something like the cloud flats, which you'll see often, that hook curl will stay home, but your curl right here is going to find a nice little sweet spot that can't be covered. I could show you against hard flats as well. It's not going to get covered. So right away you have 2 unguardable routes unless they start to do some crazy man coverage and stuff like that. Or they switch into cover 2. But again, that's something that's really easy to tell because now you have 4 down linemen, which is also a nice little look if you want to pull the quarterback draw. So right away, really, really good. You might see things like, say, base align. So base align, obviously you won't be able to tell what's going on, but you have some cool things you can do with base align and things that I've been doing kind of all year. And I made a video on it a while ago, but I don't know how well it took off. Is that these outside linebackers, as fast as they move in this game laterally, there's no way that they can come out and guard your number 1 wide receivers. So what I tend to do is I'll do something kind of interesting like this. I will put my number 1 on a comeback route, and then I can do whatever I want with my number 2. I could say put him on a little hitch, and I'll just snap throw outside to that comeback route right away, and he has huge amount of space here that I can just catch that, make that cornerback miss, and move that upfield. I can even do that to the other side. You can set this to whatever side you want. Again, baseline over here. My offense is totally spread out. I could even do this. Just like this. Quick throw that field, rack catch that, and get huge, huge amount of yards. Even if they cloud flat, whatever they do, they're not going to be able to get out there. Now, of course, if they're baselining things, and I'm just pressing the wrong button here, you're going to want to stay away from the quarterback draw, just because things aren't really going to work out nicely for you. But yeah, you could really do anything at that point. You could even just, you could throw out those quick flat routes over there and take that upfield. Really, again, what I was saying before is cover 4 drop is just cover 3, but you're wasting a down lineman to drift into oblivion with the other safeties, because the 2 safeties and the cornerbacks really aren't doing anything at all. And those curl flats, like I showed you, aren't as good as the curl flats in cover 3. So that's why I think it's a really, really poor coverage, but surprisingly you still see it here and there, and you still see people kind of asking for it. So I want to put that out there, and this is something you can definitely add to the San Francisco playbook that I gave for you guys. And although it's not in the hard copy, unfortunately, it's something you could tag on. If you have a PDF reader, you can just make a little note or whatever that this is going to be a great play for you. Some things that you might see if you're in Tampa, maybe they'll base line so they can disguise in a Tampa 2 every once in a while. So then this thing that I just showed you here, if you're trying to throw that out that quick comeback, you don't want to get kind of baited into that with a trapping cloud flat defender. So you just got to see that he's going to be there, and then you'll have the smash concept on the left here. That's great against Tampa 2. The other thing I want to quickly note before I wrap up is that this tight end route right here, although it isn't great, it's actually decent as a last option. So if you start to see things like, say, the user defender is coming over on this side to help out, and maybe he mans up on the corner route or something like that. Of course, you're gonna have wide open tight end right in the middle here. So that's always going to be an option for you kind of towards the end if they're really over adjusting. But I would suspect that they would check into different coverages before then. And of course, even if you call the pass play or whatever, you can kind of sit in the pocket for a while, and if things kind of break down, you can still scramble from there. And in the end, that's actually almost better than the quarterback draw. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. Definitely tack that onto your San Francisco playbook, or find something similar to this in your own playbook, because I think it's great against cover 4 drop, because both sides, the smash concept on the left and the curl flat on the right, is going to be great, and then there's no pass rush that you need to really account for. So it's going to be great for you, and I hope you guys like this, and we'll see you in the next one.